Hello, and welcome to this review of Confused Matthew. First of all, I want to make clear that normally I really do enjoy the reviews of Confused Matthew. In particular, I like his review of the Star Wars sequels, or prequels, whatever, and I concur with his findings. His Voyager-related videos are also for the most part accurate, and I cannot object to his critique of the crappy endings of Star Trek Generations and X-Men Part 3. But he totally gets it wrong with one movie. That movie is Star Trek VIII, First Contact. In the following reviews, I'll try to explain why. There's much work to do, so let's get started. First Contact sets the general consensus among Star Trek fans is the best of the TNG movies, and competes with Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, for the title Best Star Trek Movie. Let's review, one by one, the arguments used by Confused Matthew to challenge this general knowledge. Score and ship are great, no argument here. But then we come to a double dream sequence. Picard wakes up, goes to the mirror, Borg implants are coming out of his face, and he wakes up again. This time for real. Nothing extraordinary, you may think. Perhaps, but it confuses Matthew anyway. When did we ever see anything like that, he asks. Well, it is really not uncommon. You can even see it on Voyager, in the episode Waking Moments. And Voyager's writing staff is certainly not famous for creativity. So after the second awakening, it's pretty clear that now we are indeed in the real world. Next confusing moment for Matthew is the following line. This time there may be no stopping them. He wants to know why. Actually, the line makes sense for someone who knows TNG as well for someone who doesn't know it. Little history lesson. The first Borg invasion was seen in the TNG episodes Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and 2. One single Borg ship, a cube, destroyed nearly 40 starships at Wolf 359. Starfleet didn't stand a chance. Even the Enterprise D had no chance of defeating the cube by conventional means. Hadn't there been an android and an assimilated Picard? Data hacked himself into the Borg collective where he was able to activate the Borg sleeping mode thanks to a hint of Picard that this mode was the only one without proper safeties. Without that, Earth would have been assimilated. But this was a one-time trick. Now every Borg in the whole universe knows about it, and they will have secured the sleep-regulating systems. If you do not know TNG, the line, "This time there may be no stopping them," will probably imply something like this. Well, it was very close the first time, and they only defeated them because they were in luck, but this time it could well be different. And now I am confused. Sorry, I don't have my own I am confused sign just yet. How the frack can someone be confused about a line like this? It doesn't make any sense. Now we come to Picard's major decision to disobey his orders not to participate in the battle against the Borg at Sector 001. Quote, Picard is not the kind of character who would defy orders under any circumstances. Pardon me, are we talking about the same character here? Let us ignore insurrection for a moment, which aired over 2 years after First Contact, and let us also ignore the many cases Picard didn't follow the Prime Directive. There are still cases where Picard disobeyed direct orders from his superior officers. In The Offspring, Picard defies the order of Admiral Heftel to turn over Data's daughter for study, as he thinks it would violate Data's right as a father. In Suddenly Human, he refuses to bring the boy Jono, who was abducted as a child by the Talarians, back to his grandmother, a Starfleet admiral. And as a final example, in The Pegasus, he disobeys the direct order of Admiral Blackwell not to reveal a secretly developed cloaking device to the Romulans. So, his reason for ignoring his order in First Contact is not morally but pragmatically motivated. Obviously, the fleet is losing against the Borg, so it would be just stupid to leave the flagship out of the battle any longer. The importance of the scene is the following. Picard's superiors do not trust him. They think his experiences with the Borg, namely that he was made a drone, would make him act irrational. That is exactly what happens later in the film, so this scene gives us a hint of events yet to come. It is not the most important scene in the movie, however, it is not gratuitous either. Here we have the users defined engaging the Borg. The commanding officer is Worf. His appearance is allegedly another confusing moment that only viewers of DS9 can figure out. Come on! What's this? Obviously a Federation warship that fights the Borg. Who is the guy with witches on his forehead? Worf! Is it so hard to imagine that he was reassigned after his former ship was destroyed 2 years ago in Generations? Do you have to know DS9 for that? I don't think so. For fans the scene works great, but for the general audience it should be also just fine. What follows is a little complaint about time travel. I agree, time travel is almost always problematic. First Contact is no exception, so I grant you this small complaint. So far, we didn't discuss any important scene in the movie, what is somehow confusing. Thankfully, now we are at last reaching the first serious charges against First Contact. First, we have to claim that after the arrival in the 21st century, we didn't get an adequate exposition. Picard and his men were talking about events and persons we, the audience, knew nothing about. Second claim, the whole movie was, to put it in a nutshell, just shooting Borg, and by doing so, the crew of the Enterprise acted out of character. Regarding the missing exposition, I don't want to play fanboy here, but in fact we saw such a problem already in the original series. However, the problem here is, what would it be like if Picard and his crew suddenly started to explain things that are considered general knowledge in their time? Yes, it would be stupid. It seems the Borg are trying to prevent the First Contact. First Contact? Was it not the first encounter of an alien life form? Borg. Yes, after Severin Cochrane made a warp flight with his ship, the Phoenix, which he had built out of a transcontinental missile. The Balkans detected the warp signature. I had an assignment about it in school. Yes, now I remember too. This First Contact was one of the great turning points in human history. Mankind discovered it was not alone in the universe. Since then we worked together. Our goal is to improve ourselves and not, as once, to make money or to jerk off in front of some cheap porn movies. Over 100 years later, the Federation was founded. Without the First Contact, it would have been unthinkable. Well, for me, this alternative appears a little artificial. More important, during the film you get all the relevant information. Why do you have to get them all at once? Finally, let's look at the out-of-character claim. Have these guys suddenly transformed into commandos? Of course not. Deanna is on Earth, where she gets no chance to shoot at a Borg. At no time she is holding a weapon. The same is true for Geordi. He is not on the ship, so he cannot shoot at any Borg, what would have been out of character indeed. Riker isn't on the ship as well, therefore he isn't shooting anyone. Well, actually he stuns Cochrane, but that's different. Quite contrary to Nemesis, if I may say so. There he really was acting out of character by fighting a celebrity deathmatch against the ugly Viceroy. But not at First Contact. Doc Crusher. She's on the Enterprise, thus she could shoot at Borg, but she does not. What is she doing? Helping people! That's what she does. Certainly not out of character. Data. He is shooting at Borg alright, but wait a second. His program, as he himself pointed out in the TNG episode The Hunted, contains military strategies. Of course he is physically superior to normal humanoids too. Therefore it is absolutely logical for him to join the fight against the Borg. Worf. He's not officially a member of the crew, though he was head of security for 7 years on the Enterprise D. Shooting at everything and everyone is the only thing he's really good at. It's not out of character, it is his character. Eventually Picard. Is at least he acting out of character? Again the answer is no. Picard's rage against the Borg, the Ahab motive, is one of the key elements of the whole film. The Borg have taken everything from him, not just his body but also his mind. They let him commit heinous crimes and he could not resist them. For him that was worse than rape, worse than mutilation. Think about it. Ahab just lost a leg. Picard, for a time, lost his personality and lives on with the knowledge that he killed thousands of humans. This rage is understandable in a continuation of TNG, where he was willing to use a young drone as a weapon of mass destruction against the collective. The statement of someone being out of character will accompany us through all reviews, and with the time running out, I just wanna emphasize that, very much like in politics, repeating a statement over and over and over again doesn't make it true. This review will be concluded next time. See you then and have a nice day.